I once believed that worry was just another word for love. When my wife, Claire, said she worried about me, my health, my stress, the long hours I worked, it felt genuine. Her concern sounded tender, like the care of someone deeply in love. I never imagined those same words would one day echo through my mind as the cruelest kind of irony. For months, I've been feeling strange, exhausted, lightheaded, emotionally drained. I dismissed it as burnout. Claire would sigh softly and say, "You've been overworking yourself, James. Please take it easy." Her tone was soothing, her touch gentle, her smile comforting. She'd make me tea, insist I get more rest, even take my phone so no one could disturb me. At first, it felt like love, like protection, like someone looking out for me. But gradually, something began to feel off. Her worry turned into control. She started monitoring what I ate, when I slept, even how often I left the house. She insisted on preparing every meal herself, saying it was for my health. When I mentioned grabbing lunch at work, her expression would tighten. "No, I'll cook something for you," she'd say. "It's safer." I thought it was sweet. I thought she just cared too much. Then one night, I woke to the glow of her phone, lighting up beside her on the bed. The name on the screen was just a single letter, R. The message preview read, "It's working. He's getting weaker." I froze. My heart pounded so hard it felt like it might burst. I wanted to believe it was a joke, some misunderstanding. But dread clawed at me until I couldn't resist. I unlocked her phone and started scrolling. What I found turned my blood to ice. Dozens of messages. Conversations going back months. R wasn't some co-worker or friend. It was her ex. They'd been talking behind my back, writing about me, about my failing health. She'd said things like, "He's been dizzy again, barely eating." And his reply, "Perfect. Keep feeding him your meals." Suddenly, every kind gesture, every worried tone, every cup of tea she placed on my nightstand twisted into something horrifying. She wasn't worried for me. She was worried I'd find out. The next morning, I acted calm, though inside, I was trembling. I needed to understand how deep this went before making a move. I didn't confront her right away. I needed evidence, a plan, and a way to protect myself. From that moment, every smile she gave me, every sweet word, felt rehearsed. The woman I'd loved, the one who had once seemed so devoted, had become a stranger wearing a mask of affection. Over the next few days, I watched her closely, how she texted, what she cooked, how she reacted when I declined her meals. She didn't suspect a thing. She kept bringing me food, hovering, fussing over my health, and sending loving reminders to rest. Meanwhile, her secret chats with her ex continued. They discussed my medications, ways to increase my fatigue, and subtle ways to make me weaker without suspicion. The realization made me sick, but I had to stay composed, to know exactly how far she was willing to go. One evening, she brought up my annual checkup. "You should get tested soon," she said, her voice trembling with what looked like concern. I nodded. "You're right." What she didn't know was that I'd already booked it, and made sure every detail would be documented. I needed proof, legal proof, medical proof. By the third week, I had everything. Screenshots, logs, photos, records of their conversations. Her betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was calculated. She even joked about my exhaustion, calling it progress. "I'm worried about you," now felt like a knife wrapped in silk. When I finally decided to confront her, I did it calmly. No shouting, no rage, just truth. That night, I asked her to sit with me in the living room. My phone lay on the table, the messages pulled up. I didn't say a word at first. I simply began scrolling. Her smile faltered. Her face went from amusement to confusion to horror. In seconds, the facade she'd built crumbled. She stammered, "It's not what it looks like." But I'd learned something vital. Actions always reveal truth, and truth cannot be disguised forever. Her excuses, her attempt to charm, to twist the story, they all fell flat. The evidence was undeniable. Each screenshot, every message, Every line between her and her ex spelled out exactly what she'd done. I stayed quiet, letting the weight of reality fall on her. For the first time in months, Claire said nothing. The smugness that used to dance on her lips vanished. Her hands trembled as she reached for her phone, maybe to delete messages, maybe to deny it, but it was far too late. Everything had already been saved, backed up, protected. Her secret, her deadly intent, was now exposed. And in that silence, I realized just how deep her deception ran. I took a slow breath. I knew what I needed to do next. Confrontation wasn't enough. I had to protect myself. I documented every detail, saved multiple copies. I reached out to authorities and a lawyer, not for revenge, but for safety, because betrayal that's deliberate carries real consequences. Over the following days, Claire changed completely. Her once effortless confidence faded into fear. She no longer pretended to care, no longer tried to control my every move. Every glance, every word became careful, measured. The power had shifted. She knew I knew. In the weeks that followed, I began rebuilding my life piece by piece, setting boundaries, relearning how to trust myself. Claire's hidden intentions had been uncovered, and the lesson was brutal but clear. Words of worry can hide poison. Affection can mask intent. The most dangerous betrayals rarely scream. They whisper. They were the face of love. By the end, I understood something I'll never forget. The worst kind of deception doesn't come from enemies. It comes from those who hold your hand while they're undoing you. Claire wanted me weakened, maybe even gone. But truth has a way of saving what deceit tries to destroy. That night, and every night after, I remembered one thing. Trust must be earned. Awareness is survival. And sometimes, the softest words hide the darkest hearts. Her worry had been poisoned, but the truth, unyielding and undeniable, saved my life.